Can you wear the X39 if you have the MTHFR gene variant? And will it help with migraines that often come with that gene variant?
Yeah, so this is something that we haven't done a clinical study on, so we don't know the answer to that. Now, with respect to migraines, I'd recommend a few things. First, the Eon patch, because the Eon patch is going to cause a relaxation response in the autonomic nervous system. So it'll balance out the sympathetic and the parasympathetic mode of the nervous system. So this is going to be very, very good for anyone suffering with migraines. So a good place to apply the patch is someone could simply apply some pressure with their index finger to their neck. When they found a point that would be especially tight, they could apply the Eon patch there. I'd also recommend magnesium for people that suffer with migraines. And magnesium glycinate is good, but magnesium threonate gets into the brain much, much better. And that might be a little bit more useful for someone that's suffering with migraines. Another product that's pretty interesting, we kind of found this out by accident. We were doing research a number of years ago and looking at how to increase levels of acetylcholine in the brain. And we started to have women that were using the product we were investigating that we developed, and they started to notice their migraine headaches were going away. And I think we really pinned this down. There was phosphatidylserine that was in the product. So phosphatidylserine is a natural nutrient that gets into the brain for supporting neurotransmitters levels in the brain, but it causes a relaxation response. Oh yeah, by the way, the name of the magnesium is magnesium threonate. I saw the comment there.
Thank you.
And this other supplement is phosphatidylserine, S-E-R-I-N-E. So that could be one of a couple of things that people that are suffering with migraines could try. Definitely would also recommend the energy patches. They could be placed either at the temples. They're pretty effective. They could be applied to the large intestine 4 point down on the hand. They could be applied at the base of the neck. They've also been very effective for migraine headaches.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So do people who start on the X39 need to wear the X39 for the rest of their lives?
Well, it's kind of like vitamins. And so, we're so far, the way technology is that, if we want to keep our vitamin levels elevated, we have to get proper nutrition daily. And so if we want to keep our stem cells active, we're going to have to use the X39 patch till another technology is invented. But I would look at it as being a vitamin. We have to take it daily to get those benefits. It's just the way it is.
So if you use the X39 for a year and you see some shift in your body and you decide to, let's say you have a knee issue and you had knee pain, you started using X39 and after a few months it went away and you kept using X39 for a year. After a year you decided to stop using X39. What's going to happen? Are they going to explode?
No, no, it's kind of like anything else. It would be the levels of the nutrient would drift down over a relatively short period of time, but it would be quite a bit longer before someone might notice the impact of that. So in other words, someone could go with a vitamin deficiency for months or maybe even years before they would really know that they had a problem. It wouldn't be a good thing, but it might be a while before they really noticed that they had a problem. So it would be something along those lines.
Okay. Can you use and wear the X39 on your clothing, or can we put it on a pet's collar?
Yeah, so my daughter and I, we have 2 dogs. We have an Australian Shepherd and a Rottweiler, and we will regularly put patches on their collars. And that seems to work pretty well. We actually have a study that we did with dogs where we did that, and we showed that it can reduce their levels of pain by reducing their inflammation. So that works very, very well with pets. Yeah, now on clothing, if someone was allergic to the adhesive, and that might be 1 out of every 10,000 people. The adhesive is made by 3M. It's hypoallergenic. And so 1 out of 10,000 people have an allergy. They can put it on the clothing and it'll work just fine. It doesn't have to come in contact with the skin.
To be effective.
To
So
be effective.
I know I have a girlfriend who has a son who is autistic, and he doesn't like anything on his skin. So she
Right.
puts the patch right on his tag, basically, of his shirt,
Right.
and has found huge results
Yep.
just doing it that way. The patch is
Yep.
effective whether it's physically stuck to the body, whether it's in my bra, whether it's in my pocket, or whether it's stuck to my clothing. Is that right?
That's right, because the patches are activated by body heat. Body heat is infrared light, and it's going to go right through clothing, and it's going to go out a considerable distance from the body, you know, maybe several feet. So, yeah, that's the communication pathway, so no issue at all.
Okay, great. So why do we need to wear the patch for 12 hours and then take it off and rest and rejuvenate for 12 hours?
So when we do our clinical studies, that's the protocol that we use. 12 hours is a convention that we've developed over the years in our testing. We may find that, you know, 14 hours is better someday, or 8 hours is better, but we found consistently that 12 hours works. So why is it that you have to take the patch off, though, which is part of the question? And the reason is that in phototherapy and light therapy, there is a phenomena called attenuation or accommodation. And what it simply means is that if you keep stimulating the body, eventually the body stops responding. It's like if you took someone and you kept giving them coffee every day, eventually that 1 cup of coffee is not going to wake them up. The body is adapted to it. So in light therapy, it's the same thing. If we left the patches on all the time, eventually the body would stop responding to the signal. So we have to have a cycle that's on and off. And this is in keeping with the natural cycles of the body. So for example, we're not producing melatonin all day. We're producing melatonin at night because that's when we need it to help us relax and fall asleep. With hormone levels, like in men with testosterone, those testosterone levels are going to be peaking around 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. They're not peaking all day. So the body has these natural rhythms and cycles, and we have to be respectful of those cycles. So there needs to be an on and an off phase.
Okay. And so that leads me to the next question about should we be wearing the X39 during the day or during the night, or is one better than the other?
You know, we don't know yet. When we've done our studies, everyone wears the patch during the day. And so we haven't determined yet whether or not it's better to use it during the day or night. What we know is that it's incredibly effective during the day. Whether or not someone might benefit more at night, we don't know yet. But we do know it's incredibly effective during the day.
Okay. What about people who are dealing with neuropathy or nerve issues? Has the X39 been something that will help with that?
Well, let's see. If I give you the answer to that question, I'll be claiming that we're treating a medical condition. So I'm going to answer a little bit differently. Yeah, I'll rephrase it, and I'll start out by saying this way. So first of all, starting 12 years ago, we did research on diabetic and idiopathic neuropathy. And we were successful in a human trial. We worked with a medical doctor that's a neurosurgeon, and we were able to reverse early stage diabetic neuropathy in all 30 people.
Wow.
And we were able to actually regrow their peripheral nerves.
Wow.
So for people that aren't familiar with this, when someone has chronic high blood sugar the blood sugar will damage the nerves, and this affects the peripheral nerves in the feet. When the nerves begin to become compromised, this results in loss of feeling, pain. People can feel it walking on gravel. And then in later stage neuropathy, ulcerations can form. And in 15–20% of cases, this is going to result in amputation. So this is a very, very serious condition. So what we wanted to do is find out, could we activate the stem cells in the body specifically to repair the peripheral nerves and reverse the neuropathy? And we did that with electromagnetism. So a specific form of electromagnetic device that we patented. Now with copper peptide, because it activates stem cells, there is research work, if people look, that shows that it will induce neurogenesis, meaning that it will form new nerves. But we can't make that claim about X39, but with copper peptide, it shows up in the literature.
Interesting. Okay. Can you wear the patches? Sorry. Are the patches effective if they've been left in a hot car or EMF from the phones or from computers? Does that make the patches not work, or what do we think about the effectiveness?
Yeah, so for sure, leaving the patches in a car in the hot Florida sun is not going to be a good idea, right? The heat will definitely degrade them. And what I'd recommend, if somebody did that by accident, they contact customer service, say, hey, I've got this new sleeve and I left it in my car, I'd like to exchange it, and we'll go ahead and do that. So we don't want to leave them in a hot environment. Regarding EMFs, computers, they should not have an adverse effect on the product. They should not have.
Okay.
Yeah, it's mostly a heat source that we should be concerned about.
Okay, fantastic. What about, what's the best protocol or way to build back collagen in the body?
Yeah, so now this is actually something that affects everybody. And because collagen is the most abundant protein. And actually, there is an extremely important role that collagen plays in the aging process. So in other words, collagen, the collagen production and the loss of collagen from our cells is intimate to aging. So in other words, when we look at how can we reverse the aging process, part of it is linked to restoring collagen production. So the good news is that there's some very easy, good ways to do this. Supplementing with collagen is one way, and collagen supplements are relatively easy to come by these days. There's also some very interesting research on what's called the master amino acid formula. And I don't have time to get into it in any great detail, but this is a combination of a number of amino acids, including the branched chain amino acids, and it will keep the body in a positive nitrogen balance, and as a result, it's an extraordinarily clean way of providing the body with amino acids that will turn into protein, including new collagen. So that's something else. But in any case, supplementing with collagen or master amino acids is one way to do it. The other thing that we want to do is keep our glutathione levels elevated, because glutathione is going to regenerate damaged cartilage and damage collagen in the body. Our Nirvana supplement actually has been shown to increase collagen production in the fibroblasts. X39, copper peptide, has been shown to increase collagen production in the body. So yeah, people that would be interested in optimizing collagen production, You want to make sure you're getting enough dietary protein. You're getting your essential fatty acids, like your omega-3s, monounsaturated fats, getting essential minerals like zinc, selenium. These are all going to help support healthy production of collagen.
Okay. What about help a protocol for building back cartilage and or bone?
So we're doing a research study right now. We just got, yeah, I'm excited about this. I wouldn't normally, I'm going to talk about it to your team, but I wouldn't talk about it publicly normally. But we think we may have found a way to regenerate bone using the patches. And we're looking at women that have osteoporosis. And we want to see, can we reverse osteoporosis that would be considered normal to the aging process. And we just got back the results from the first 10 women that are participating in the study. The statistics are being generated now, so I don't know if it worked or not. But I can tell you if it did work, for sure, we're going to take that product to market in LifeWave, for sure. I'd be very excited about doing that.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, so we think we may have a way of doing that. In the meantime, there are a few supplements, like there's a supplement called Algae Cal, which is an algae-based calcium, and that's highly bioavailable, and it's often recommended for people that are suffering with osteoporosis. A number of key minerals like boron would be used to strengthen the bone. Vitamin K, and there's MK4 and MK7. You'd want to use both of those because they're going to help with the uptake of calcium into the bone. And as a matter of fact, anyone supplementing with calcium needs to be supplementing with vitamin K. So in other words, if you're taking a lot of calcium, that can have an adverse effect. It can lead to calcification of tissue that you don't want to calcify. So the beauty of taking vitamin K1 and K2 is that this is going to aid in the absorption of calcium into the bone. Needless to say, vitamin D is also, an important part of that. For regenerating cartilage, let's use an example. Let's say that someone has a bad knee. Again, you'd want to make sure that you're getting enough protein, and supplementing with collagen would be a great idea. Since vitamin C is involved in repair of damaged cartilage, taking 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C 2 or 3 times a day would be good. And then applying X39 and Eon to the site of the injury, or glutathione and Eon to the site of the injury, like the knee, would be very useful. The Eon patch is used to reduce the inflammation, and glutathione will trigger repair of the cartilage. Of course, X39 is going to attract in stem cells. The reason why Eon's important is that when someone has a chronic injury and they have a loss of cartilage, there's going to be a lot of inflammation. And if we don't reduce the inflammation, the stem cells, once they get to the injury site, are not going to last very long. So we need to reduce the inflammation to let the stem cells do their job. I definitely would also recommend people have a diet of avocados, because they're very high in monounsaturated fat, or take extra virgin olive oil, like 1 or 2 tablespoons of real extra virgin olive oil, because those monounsaturated fats are going to help to also control inflammation. And again, then you can let the stem cells do their job.
Nice.